Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Tool Show with me, Master Dan, the Journeyman shooter. And it's a beautiful morning. I figured why not do one of our delicious coffee time segments. And I've got what do I got here today? It is, if I can get the bottle open and it just shoots on my face, nice. Ow, that's really hot. It's a vanilla cream puff, which is one of the most manly ones that I could have today. I think my mom sent me that from the States, but whew, it's hot. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? What could we talk about that's something that's important for everybody? And I was thinking, there's a lot of men out there that watch this, but there's also a lot of women. And tradesmen and tradeswomen are part of it too, but women that have to deal with tradesmen are it's a tough life. And I know, especially in my trade, there's like a 60% divorce rate among electricians, because I know I'm a product of my dad's an electrician, him and my mom got divorced, my uncle divorced my aunt. Well, I don't think they ever got married, but they just never kind of got together. And then I know everybody I've met over the years, every one of them's been divorced either once or twice. And there's a whole lot of different theories on what causes the divorce, and it's tough because the trades are really stressful. They put a lot of pressure on you. You're always meeting deadlines. You're always working harder and harder and harder, and things kind of set you back once in a while, and that's part of it. It's tough. You get home, you don't want to go out because you're so tired, basically. I know I've worked jobs where you're walking easily, like, I don't know, 20, 30 miles a day up and down through ladders, and you're going all over the place, and then you get real tired because that's what you do all day. And then I went home and the girlfriend wants to go out and, I don't know, go for dinner or go someplace, and you just don't have the energy, you don't have the strength to do it. And that's part of life. Sometimes you got to, I don't know, do that kind of stuff, and I don't know, you got to work, you got to make the money so that you can actually go out later and enjoy life. But the problem is with that is a lot of people won't wait around for you, and I know that personally, because if you go in the oil patch or you have to leave town for a day or two, and because I know in the city that I live in right now, Calgary, it's really slow for work, and if you want some work, they'll send you up north, basically. You can go up and work up north, but that means you have to leave your girlfriend and your family and your life and everything you have, your pets, everything, basically. You got to leave them all, and you got to go up north, and it's not fair because that's what ruins the relationships. I remember the first day that we got there, they told all of us in the orientation room that there's an 80% divorce rate on this one specific site. So the first day they tell you that you're probably not going to stay with your girlfriend for very long or your wife for very long. It's like, well, wow, thank you for warning us. But that was not cool. That was a horrible job site. And guess what? I did end up breaking up with the girlfriend that I really cared about at the time, but that's just part of life. I guess it was all for a reason. Something happened, and that's why it happens. So, but there's one guy that I was watching TV the other day, and it was this guy that was kind of talking about how he's an expert with women and how he's an expert with men and how he knows everything about every relationship, even though he's basically kind of just a office guy, basically somebody that takes he has an easy job, he sits down all day, he doesn't work very hard, and then he makes up stuff to try to pick up women. And that's what this guy, I guess he tries to do. And so that's what I was reading about it, and it's a famous book from the 90s. I'm a child of the 90s, and even I heard it on TV yesterday. There was somebody else talking about it where it's the name of the book is He's Not That Into You. And then there's also a famous movie that was made about it where there's a whole bunch of beautiful women, and then there's just sleazy guys that aren't that into them. But the problem is a lot of the time you don't know every situation. There's guys like in the movie, in the book or whatever, the guy was giving the origin story of how he came up with the idea for that he's not that into you, and his idea of how he came up for it was he had a friend who had a guy friend, and she wanted to come over to his place after dinner or something like that, but the guy was just really tired and he had to work in the morning. So he said he couldn't do it, and he told her that he'd meet up with her the next day or something like that. And so she went to work, and she was talking to this guy at work, and this guy at work obviously decided to pick up where he doesn't really know the most and said, oh, he's just not that into you. And there it is, that's the book. And it's like, oh man, well, maybe the guy's tired, maybe the guy's not feeling well, maybe there's like a whole bunch of different stories that you don't really know about, and you're just ruining that relationship so you can try to get with the girl. And it's like, oh, I've seen that many times. Especially, it's kind of funny, the tradespeople versus the office people. It's one of the oldest basically wars in I don't know, history. There's the richer people versus the people that are forced to build the world. And that's one of the histories. I remember I always learned about that too. And there was one of my favorite shows called My Name is Earl. And on My Name is Earl, he kind of had one of the best analogies for life that I've ever heard. And it's the Dockers versus the Dickies. There's two different kinds of people in this world. There's the Dockers and the Dickies. And the Dockers, they're two different kinds of pants, basically. The Dockers, they work in the docks and they wear Dickies. And the Dickies, they work in the front and they wear Dockers. So that's it. The Dickies versus the Dockers. There's two different kinds of people in the world, and which one do you want to be? Do you want to be one that earns the world, or do you want to be one of both? And that's where Earl wanted to kind of go from the dock up to the Dickies, and he just couldn't do it. They always told him that you can't go from the dock to the Dickies. You can always go from the Dickies to the Dockers, but you just can't do the opposite way. And Earl ended up doing it, and good for Earl, because Earl proved that you could do anything you want. And I love that show. It's a great lesson, basically. Karma, you do bad things, you get bad things, or you do good things and you get good karma, and that's a great thing to learn. And that's still real hot. Oh jeez, yeah, that rollie on my arm and I'm pouring Shamdan, and if something, I don't forget the rest of the song. Drop it like it's... No, I'm just kidding. I won't do it. But that's all I want to talk about today. So, for Tool Show, I'm Master Dan, the Journeyman shooter. He probably is into you, or she's probably into you, and you might want to just keep it going, I guess. Don't listen to anybody else. Talk to the friend, and actually, I don't know, be somebody. Be a normal human, and, I don't know, get along with each other. So, for that, Tool Show, Master Dan, the Journeyman shooter. Have a good day, and get along with each other.